the mission of the institution, develop leaders for a just and humane world. And that drives everything we do. Innovation in tech, innovation in manufacturing was always part of the DNA, and that has an attractive pull to the talent from all parts of the globe which comes here.
A gap that industry told us that they face, which is you have the technical, scientific data people who know all about the data, and you have in the business the end users who don't know what's available and don't know the questions to ask to the scientists.
One thing I would have changed is to ask more questions.
Hi guys, today I'm in Seattle where I'm talking to a couple of deans from Seattle University who will tell us about the university life, about why Seattle is the place to be, particularly about the corporate connection of being in Seattle and the campus life. So hi deans, hi, how are you guys doing?
You're great.
It would be great if you guys can quickly introduce both of yourselves.
Hi, I'm Joe Phillips. I'm the Dean of the Albert School of Business and Economics.
And I'm Amit Shukla. I'm the Dean of College of Science and Engineering here at Seattle University.
So sir, for both of you, we have this one common question. How was your first day in Seattle? When you came to Seattle, whenever it was, must have been years. What were your first experiences around Seattle?
My first experience in Seattle was probably 25 years ago.
Wow.
When I flew in for a job interview.
Right.
And, it was night. And I remember flying into SeaTac, taking the cab to downtown Seattle, which is what you did back then.
Right.
And just seeing the amazing city lights as you come on the interstate from the airport to the city. That's my first memory of Seattle. Seattle at night with the lights of downtown.
And mine was more recent than Joe's. So about 3 years ago, I visited Seattle also for the interview process. The most impressive thing is, of course, the natural beauty here. When you see the mountain, when you see the sound, when you see the nature around you, that hits you. And then you breathe in the fresh air, it's quite impressive.
And I was sure you were going to talk about IHOP. That's an inside joke.
So Seattle as a town has something which is a very important part of Indian pop culture. We have seen a lot of techies from your TCS, Infosys, Wipro, tech companies work at Microsoft and these big companies. So have you guys, I want to get from your personal experience, I'm sure you would have interacted with a lot of techies from India who are working here. Why do you think Seattle became such a big hub for attracting so many techies?
That's a great question. I think it starts out with, sort of iconic businesses like Microsoft who have a demand for employees. I think they were really the first big tech employer in town. And then others like Amazon came along and so forth. So a lot of opportunity in Seattle. It's also a temperate climate. So whether you're used to hot or cold, it's easier to fit in climate-wise. It's also very diverse. So it's not just Indian citizens that are working in Seattle. It's people from all over the world. And that tends to result in maybe a more accepting, inclusive population in general, which, it's not unusual to find somebody that doesn't look like you or has a different accent or whatever. So I think a lot of that contributes. And then as Amit said, the outdoors, even if you're not used to it, you can get used to it very quickly because, it's a fabulous resource for us.
And I'll just add, this city was built by Boeing, many years ago. And it's still Boeing and Packard and Nordstrom are integral part of what Seattle has now become, and more known for in the last 50 years, is the tech enterprise. And so innovation around different industry, innovation in tech, innovation in manufacturing was always part of the DNA. And that has an attractive pull to the talent from all parts of the globe which comes here. While, we are benefiting from that amalgamation here in Seattle, we also want to preserve the Pacific Northwest culture, which is more about, uh, relatively being low key about
Right.
many things.
Right.
So that combination, I think, is a very strong pull for some of the crowd audiences which you were referring to. What I would say is that this is Seattle University is Seattle's university, and we are really delighted to be engaging in that ecosystem, which is very much an innovation-driven ecosystem.
Now, one thing that we have seen is that every university has a culture, and then every college under that university has their own culture. So what I would want is first, both of you, if you can tell me how would you define the culture generally at Seattle University, and then your respective colleges, how would you want it to sound, or how do you think it is?
Okay. You want to go first?
Yeah, maybe I'm the newbie here, so I'll go first, and maybe Joe will add or disagree. Seattle University is, as I was mentioning, really Seattle's university. So we deeply engage with our community, our partners, and the mission of the institution, which is a Jesuit Catholic institution, is to develop leaders for a just and humane world.
Right.
And that drives everything we do. So our students not only learn, what grand challenges to solve, but also how to solve them, how to care for the people who will be impacted by it. And that really drives the entire academic operation, that drives our vision, mission, and values. So this is really what I have learned, and I've really taken at the heart of our work is the values-based education.
So I would add to that, part of that mission is to be very focused on the student. It's very clear here that it's about the student. It's not about what's good for faculty or what's good for staff. Everybody's focused on meeting the needs of students, where they're at, and also sizing them up for their potential, so where they can be. And it's a holistic approach. It's not just about what happens in the classroom and what kind of skills you develop or what kind of knowledge you get. It's, broader. It's your mental well-being. It's your physical well-being. It's your value development as a person, and what you want to stand for is what we see as part of the whole package that we want for our students, both undergraduate students and graduate students. And I think that's when you talk to our students, whether they are international students or not, they get that. They see that there's something different about what happens here than what they've experienced or what they hear from their friends is happening at other campuses in the U.S.
And I'll just plus one that, because it's really about truly caring for each individual person on campus, undergraduate or graduate students alike. And we have faculty, we have staff who are driven by that. So that is the big difference. The other layer of what you were asking is, how was college implementing that vision?
How is it tying it to us?
So for the College of Science and Engineering, we feel that while you're learning a lot of things in the classroom as a student in one of our programs, you're also learning best when you're doing things, engaging with external partners. And so almost every student in our program has either a research experience or an internship experience or a capstone experience. So within those three, every student gets multiple opportunities.
Every student will have one of the three.
One or more than one of the three. The second layer of that point I wanted to highlight is we want our alumni to come back and engage with our students. Right. So on a routine basis, every program invites their alumni who literally live within a walking distance to campus because of the ecosystem we have here.
Yes.
And that is a really advantageous situation for our current students and future students.
Now, stemming from that, before you had come here, we were discussing that networking is a very important pillar when you look at employability. And as we were discussing, you guys have multiple job fairs, career fairs, networking events. Now, what in particular, right? You have seen a lot of students who may not be that great, but they were good at networking and they got a job. And you saw some students who might be very good technically, but did not know how to converse. So if you could, from your own experiences, give us one or two anecdotes where you saw someone hustle up, where you saw someone network, because to network you need the right place, you need the right circumstances. And I believe in a place like Seattle University, in colleges like yourself, I believe there is the right opportunity. So any anecdotes?
Raghav, I'll just share one quick observation, and then Dean Phillips here has, lots of things to add there. Our students start at different places, meaning either academic preparation or background
Right.
or culture.
Right.
But when they graduate from our programs, they're equally competitive at the global scale. So, that's a given. That is what our faculty do in collaboration with the student. So after they finish our program, they are at the same level. They can compete globally, nationally, what have you. Where I think our students need more help, and that's what I was referring to, that alumni come back, our faculty invite networking opportunities for students, is really what the future is networking.
Right.
So you need to have those experiences, you need to have those skills, but being at the right place at the right time in the conversation helps in this globally connected way. So we are expanding that. I know Albers is leading with many examples which we wish to implement in our college. I only want to emphasize that our students are academically exceptionally prepared for any challenge which is out there.
So I don't even have to think very long for an anecdote. You asked for an anecdote. So yesterday we had a networking event for grad students, right? I went up to a table of 3 students that were sitting there or not sitting, but standing there by themselves. And, it turns out one was from Tunisia, one was from Russia, and one was from India. I said, ladies, don't stand here and wait for one of the professionals to come and talk to you. You need to find one of those people with plastic name tag, because they have different name tags, and you need to go up to them, introduce yourself, and the problem for them is they just started. This is their first quarter, so this is their first networking event, right? So they're trying to figure out what to do. So to your question, yeah, if they don't know quite how to get there, we're there, roving through the crowd, trying to figure out how we can help them do better and get more out of that event.
Perfect. And I think one thing through my own research, I could see was that the alumni who have passed through this university, they really value it, because they're sort of having this give back kind of feeling, because when in their own times they had someone help them. So I think that is very strong and very good to see. Now let's talk a bit particularly about the programs that we are referring to, about business analytics and then data science and the other programs we're doing. Could you tell us that what is the program about and who is this program for?
Well, first I want to go back to your question about the culture of Albers, if I can.
Sorry.
So, it's very aligned with the university culture. So it's very focused on the student, as I said. Both our faculty and staff know that. And the other thing I would point out is in Albers, students are supported by faculty and staff, not just faculty. And students know that. And they know that faculty and staff are working together. They know faculty are working together, and faculty are not, backbiting and, doing their own thing, right? So it's kind of a team thing, and it just makes for a better student experience because they know they can turn anywhere that they need to get help. That's one thing. The other thing is taking advantage of our location here in Seattle and all our alumni. So Seattle is a great town to be a business school in or a science and engineering school in, because there's so many interesting businesses. There's some that everybody's heard of, like Amazon and Microsoft, and there's lots of smaller startup businesses that nobody outside of Seattle has heard about yet, or privately held businesses, family-owned businesses, and so forth. And so we're always trying to figure out how can we take advantage of being here in the middle of all this. Mm-hmm. And, one way we do that is with our advisory boards, right? So we have probably, 13 or 14 different advisory boards in the business school, just about one for every discipline or department. And, these are all professionals, not necessarily alumni, but some of them are alumni. And, we use the advisory boards to create opportunities for students. We use the advisory boards to tell us, what needs to be happening in our curriculum so we're up to date and so forth. So that's another part of it. And then another example of, leveraging our location and our alumni is our mentor program, right? So we have mentors from the professional community that work with our students, including international students, that usually
it's usually a case of 2 or 3 students being assigned to the mentor and working with them throughout the academic year. Usually it's about their professional goals, career opportunities, and so forth that they're focusing on as a group. And that's been a terrific program. It's not designed to find somebody a job, but it often, using that program and the connections that you can develop, that's often what happens, right?
Right.
So, 2 things there. Focused on the students, but also focused on how can we leverage Seattle. And, one of the things that Amit mentioned is like the project-based classes. Right? Project-based classes, we can go out into this community very easily and find projects for students to work on. If we were located somewhere else, wouldn't be so easy, right?
Sure.
And if we were located somewhere else, wouldn't be so easy to find, 160 or 70 mentors for the Metro program.
Oh, perfect. I think that summarizes it very well. Now, in particular about the programs, if you would quickly tell us in a brief, what is this program and who is this for? That would be very helpful.
So the impetus of the business analytics program is a gap that industry told us that they face, which is you have the technical, scientific data people who know all about the data, and you have in the business the end users who don't know what's available and don't know the questions to ask to the scientists, right? So the business analytics program is supposed to be the glue in the middle. It's somebody that has to know a lot about technology so it can communicate with that side. It's also somebody that has to know about business and the language of business and the needs of business and can be there in the middle to join those 2 together.
Like a whisperer, something like tech whisperer.
Right. So that's what we started out with the program. The need is still there today.
For sure.
So we're still delivering the program. I don't think that need's going to go away.
And what do you think AI, and I was having this conversation with you, will AI have any implications on jobs?
Yes, I mean, definitely AI is changing the way that big data gets thought about and done, and there's no way we can't integrate that into the program that we've been delivering. It wasn't as big a deal. Technically, it's always been there for a long time, right? When we started the program in 2016, it wasn't that big a deal. Now we've had to evolve as AI has become way more important.
And do you think ChatGPT was the catalyst behind whatever is happening?
No, I think ChatGPT is a good thing because it got so many people's attention. But I think there was a lot more happening, especially with respect to, technical programs like computer science and data science and business analytics, how those programs are being affected by AI. How the general population is being affected, ChatGPT, yeah. But a lot more going on there.
So, the best part is that we are right in the middle of it all, right? In many ways, literally and figuratively. As far as our current program, we have masters in computer science and data science, and both of them are slightly different, very unique perspectives to what you might find nationally. One of our mission is to diversify STEM and who engages with the STEM. Right, so both of our programs actually have pathways for students who are not from typically computer science or data science background. Right, okay. So in computer science, we have a boot camp which people who don't have undergraduate degrees in computer science could take and then pursue their masters. Similarly, in
this is before they join.
Yeah, and in data science, it's the same process where we really have opened it to anyone, as long as they can demonstrate some skill. So very simple, Python and statistics knowledge, which if they don't have, they can catch up, right? So, I mean, it's a industry standard program, but it's open to people from a lot more a variety of perspectives and experiences, which is where I think Seattle U's mission shines, that we are expanding who can participate in this economy, tech economy, essentially, through data science and computer science. Now, you're talking briefly about AI, so I have to mention 2 new opportunities for your audiences. We are launching a master's in artificial intelligence. We are also partnering with Albers and on a range of programs for what we are calling cybersecurity portfolio at our campus. So currently Albers has a cybersecurity leadership program, which is for more experienced professionals. And then in the College of Science and Engineering, we are launching a master's in cybersecurity engineering. So those are all related topics and opportunity for tremendous growth for us.
Perfect. Now, last couple of questions, last couple of segments. First, that if someone is applying, they're applying to your respective colleges. Obviously, there are technical requirements that you have, but if you had to judge an application, what are those top 2 or 3 things beyond academics you judge an application through?
Well, I think you want to get a sense that the person is intellectually curious, right? And you have a sense that they want to get the most they possibly can out of their education. So they maximize what they experience when they come to campus. So it's not just somebody who comes to classes, but they're people that get into the mentor program, want an internship, go to the networking events, go to the speaker series, take advantage of all the different opportunities that are on campus. They're very engaged, in other words. That's the student that we want.
Yep, curiosity and engagement. I think, there are unlimited opportunities on campus and off campus. It's what the students make use of.
So now in the Future and US pathway, the candidates that are completing 30% of their coursework in India online with an IIT or IIM and the 17% here on campus, I think that is something that we are focusing a lot on, curiosity and people who like to ask a lot of questions. And I think that is something even in the charters that we were reading around Seattle University, we saw that this curiosity was one of the values that we read. So last question, if you guys could go back to your college days, what would be something you would do differently?
Oh boy. Well, so this is...
and you can give us whatever answer you want. It doesn't have to be PG-13.
I did my undergrad in India and then I came to United States almost 30 years ago to do PhD and then taught for many years at now 2 different institutions. One thing I would have changed if I could go back is to ask more questions. Just culturally, that was not the thing to do.
That's I never thought about that question. What would I do differently as an undergrad? The thing I can come up with is not be too hard on myself.
Really?
Is a constant doubting, am I good enough? I participated in a lot of different things. I didn't just go to class. I did what I talked about earlier. But, you're always in the back of your mind, am I good enough? And so I should have just chilled a little bit and just gone with it, right? Instead of being so uptight about things.
Perfect. So guys, that was a great segment to end it. Chill in life. As you guys realize that coming to Seattle, you will get a very holistic perspective of what education is. Now, what you make out of it is going to be your hard work. And as the deans have been telling us, there are success stories. But if you want to be successful, you need to put in the effort. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Really appreciate this option. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raghav.
Thank you. Goodbye.